All right, we'll get started here. It is on the hour. So excited about today. Excited to have Steve and Brad join us and talk about AI in Business Central for Dummies. That would be me for one. So thanks, guys. Looking forward to hearing what you have to go through with us. So I want to just go through a few things here related to our user group. Number one, volunteers. Always looking to get some participation from anybody out there listening live or on the recording. Anybody that would like to talk about a topic, as it says here on the slide, if you consider yourself an SME, or even if you have ideas for topics that either you'd like to present or you'd like somebody else to talk about, feel free to drop us a note. Let us know. I'll get to who to do that with in just a second. And feel free to join up, just like Brad and Steve today. If you're uncomfortable just doing it yourself, feel free to just tag up with somebody and host a webinar. Looking to share all of our knowledge among each one of us here. So this is your 2026 board members. Any of us now, you see Brad's on here, but any of us can help to facilitate any ideas you have, or if you want to be a speaker. But I'll say that David and I are leading up the webinar program committee here on the board. So us specifically, if you'd shoot us a note, either through the if you tag up to us through the Dynamics community site or LinkedIn or any other myriad of ways, feel free to let us know if you want to step up and join and help out with webinars. Upcoming, of course, we have today's. Right now on the schedule, we have a tentative in May, 10 business Central setup tweaks that will make a world of difference, and we're working on one for April as well to be announced here soon. So we are looking though for anybody that wants to participate in April and June specifically. Let us know, and even after that. So we're now working on filling slots for that. And then one note in red there. If you're listening to this separate probably from today, because you're signed up for learners if you're in here. But if you're not signed up for learners, sign up and definitely choose a region. If you haven't got into your profile and chosen a region to belong to, you won't get all the notes and notifications. So please make sure that you have done that. Cool things coming up here. Road shows today in Houston, in April, Seattle and Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal. So making a grand Canadian tour there, looks like. And then you see upcoming road shows after that. And don't forget, national user group meetings. Always good to get all the user group body together. If you haven't signed up for those, highly recommend it. And you get some value add through some of the sessions that you can see listed there. So coming up here on the 19th of March itself will be a good one with Kim and Carrie. So make sure you sign up for that. And last but not least, don't forget our upcoming summit here in the fall, Gaylord Opryland in Nashville. Always fantastic, lots of good sessions. I'm sure these two gentlemen here that are presenting today will be pretty heavily engaged in that. But tons of people to connect with, great networking opportunity, awesome learning opportunities, and a lot of fun on top of it. So can't talk about it enough. All right. I will turn it over to you guys. So if you want, take that over.
Thanks, Blaine.
Thank you, Blaine. I think you have to stop sharing.
I do. Thank you for reminding me.
So that I can share. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, I'm going to share. Quick peek. Is the slideshow visible? Can everyone see the slideshow?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for joining our AI and Business Central for Dummies. Steve and myself have been working with Business Central for quite some time. And over the past few releases, they've added some AI features to it. And we thought we'd cover those with you today. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Brad Prendergast. I've been working with the Microsoft Dynamics Navision whatever you like to call it, Microsoft Dynamics Nav and the Vision Business Central product for over 25 years. During that time, I have worked for both partners and end users, so I have a good understanding of what it takes from both ends for a successful implementation. Right now, I'm the Vice President of Product Development for a partner called Tagunya. Primarily focus on product development, system architecture, design, and development. Also been a member of the Summit Programming Committee, NAVUG BC Board of Advisors, as Blaine had mentioned. Also, I am a NAVUG BC All-Star and current Microsoft MVP. I'm also a co-host of a popular podcast, Dynamics Corner. Check that out, where we have, I invite everyone to check that out, where we have the opportunity to speak with many members of the community to talk about their views and what they're doing with the application. We talk with partners, ISVs, as well as end users. Steve?
Thanks, Brad. Hi, everybody. Click the slide. There we go. Hey, gang. Steve Chinsky here. Nice to meet you. I hope you love my background. I'm in my basement today, which is my office, and it's pretty messy here. But as Brad mentioned, Brad and I have been around this product for way too long. I think we're going on our 26th, 27th year in the product itself, back when it was Navision, then it turned to Nav now, and then now Business Central. Couple of things about me. I'm not going to go through the list there, but obviously, prior to coming to this world that I live in today, I have 17 years in accounting and operations, companies like Pepsi, Amazon, things like that. So obviously having a lot of fun. Yes, I'm a Microsoft MVP as well, going in my third year now as an MVP. There's my information to get a hold of me. You can contact me there. You can also find me on the YouTube channel, BC3 Amigos, where my other cohorts in crime basically talk about Business Central, whether we do training sessions, whether we talk with outside parties like Microsoft or people in our community about apps and about anything. But reach us there. And then, of course, you can find me on LinkedIn all the time, or you can call me on my phone there. That is my real mobile number. And we can go from there. But I am also a VP of a Dynamics practice at L&L Consulting. And certainly you can reach me there as well. Thanks, Brad.
All right, great. Thank you. And also one note, I do enjoy and appreciate speaking with everybody in the community. If anyone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, conversations, or comments on many things, I do share a lot of information as well. I enjoy interacting with anybody using the product I've been using for a long time, as Steve had mentioned, along with him, and I just have a passion for it. So now we'll kind of jump into the presentation for this afternoon. I do speak rather quickly. I'll do my best to slow it down, but I get excited and passionate about this stuff, so sometimes I lose myself a little bit. First thing we'll start off with is, how many of you haven't heard of AI? Put something in the chat. Raise your hand, give some sort of signal. You can raise your hand, let us know if you haven't heard of AI.
People typing in the chat a little bit saying, of course.
Okay, so with that, how many of you have heard of AI? Okay, put your hand up, let us know, signal that you've heard of AI. I know, I think at this point, as new as it does seem like it's been around for a long time, but it seems, if you look back at the dates and when certain things were introduced, it really hasn't been around for that long. So, but I think now in 2026, it's a quite common word. I think even some of the presentations I have, I try to go out of my way to not discuss AI, and some of them just to give us all the work. But now, who can tell us what is AI? Does anybody have any ideas or comments when you want to say what AI is? AI is one of those words you hear of artificial intelligence. It's one of those blanket words, to be honest with you, because there are many areas or aspects of AI, right? There's machine learning, there's language models, there's a number of different areas that fall within that group. But here, there's really also a challenge trying to find an exact definition, but it's any artificial system that performs tasks without human oversight. It's developed for computer software, hardware, other contexts to solve problems. And it's also designed and give you the appearance that it's acting, thinking like a human, which is, I know I work with Illy and I start to talk to it now. It's quite comical that I have conversations with it now and I feel like I'm talking with someone. I do a lot with development with AI and I go back and forth and talk with it as if I would any coworker. I don't know if I'm embarrassed to admit that or proud to admit that. And again, it's some of these other things. You can set of techniques for machine learning, for cognitive tasks, excuse me, and intelligent software for decision making, communication, reasoning, documentation, many different things.
It's fun, now, Brad. I mean,
who can tell us? Yeah, it's amazing how much I use it on a given day for the areas of my life outside of development. It does so many things for me. Now, how many AI features are in Business Central? Does anybody have an idea of how many AI features are in Business Central today? If you were to install Business Central today,
I know I want to see some great chat stuff. I'm waiting to see some number. I want to see some numbers in the chat. So come on, gang.
Anybody have any guesses?
There's some funny ones in here. We got 42, 256, a billion, 199, 8, 8, another 8.
Well, all those numbers are close, Steve, but there's over 15, and I put 15 on here because I know there are more than 15. With the updates that occur, that number is constantly changing and it's constantly going up. So at this point, if you install Business Central today, there's over 15 AI features. We'll cover some of those features as time permits today. So now let's talk about what are those features. Everybody see if you've heard of these as we go through them, just let us know. I know it's on a webinar and we have the chat feature and some other interactions with us, but try to interact with us so that you can see some of these. So we have Copilot Chat is one of the features that you have within there. Does anybody use Copilot Chat? You also have Ask Copilot. You have Autofill. This is one of the newer ones, the new one that I had been waiting for some time, and it's one of my favorite. Summary. We have Copilot Summary to go. Marketing Text. Marketing Text is one of those oldie but goodies. It's been around since the beginning of the AI features. Analyze Lists. The analysis views was one of my other favorite features when they were added to Business Central. Now that they've added some Analyze Lists functionality to the application, I'm even more excited about that feature. Generate Number Series is another one that we have. Relatively new is the Payables Agent. Payables Agent to assist you with your procurement. Suggest Sales Lines is another one that many may not be aware of, but it's helpful when you're doing some order entry, if you're on the phone with somebody or if you receive an email. Late Payment Prediction to help you review your customer information to determine your cash flow. Sales Order Agent is another relatively new one, recent within the past year or so. It feels like a year or so, to help assist with order entry from email and other tools. Reconcile Bank. Everybody enjoys reconciling their bank accounts. Love this one. There's been some functionality added to help. Steve, you enjoy reconciling bank accounts, don't you?
I live and breathe it, gang. I mean, I sleep and breathe bank rec all day long. I mean, my AI is sleeping. Tool is sleeping next to my head on my pillow and talking to me while I'm sleeping.
I haven't brought mine to bed yet, but maybe in a few years. Also, you have MCP. Again, this is an expense in MCP. So MC has been added over the past couple releases, Model Context Protocol, to allow for a set of tools and communication with external service. Also, Agent Preview version 27.4 released the Agent Preview, which allows you to create your own agents. So it's previously it was called Agent Playground, but now it's called Agent Preview, and 27 allows you to create your own agents within Business Central. One thing to note within Business Central, which I'll show you momentarily, Copilot Agent capabilities is where you can see the AI functionality. You can turn it on and turn it off. Those features and functionality within your implementation. With that, I'm going to do something. Everyone does these webinars. I'm going to do something that is not, a lot of people say don't do, is I'm going to do a demonstration of these features, rapid fire, live. You never know what's going to happen when you do it live, but we're going to take that risk and hope for a wonderful presentation.
Well, Brad is bringing up actual Business Central, gang. I mean, the agents are not stopping. In fact, we're going to talk about a little bit of it today, but we're also going to talk about potentially some of the ones down the road. And there's a couple of surprises later on today. We'll talk about some of the future ones that are coming, that are known to be coming.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Steve. With that, I will jump into a couple things. One, the first thing that I mentioned, I left off on the side. If you go to Copilot, you go get Copilot agent capabilities. Here you can see I'm going to shut these off. I usually shut them off first. I apologize. So you can see the Copilot and agent capabilities. One thing, if you wanted to access the internet for some of the Copilot features and functionality, you have to enable Bing search. The other list at the bottom is you can specify if you want to activate or deactivate some of these features that I had mentioned within your Business Central environment. Also on here, it gives you some of these AI features. I'm not going to cover it in my portion of the presentation. I'm not going to talk about how it's built or the cost of some of these. Some of these features do have a cost associated with them. So when you're using some of these features, speak with your partner, whoever manages your system, to see also what the cost may be for utilizing those features. So one good thing to look at is the Copilot agent capabilities. So now I'll jump into it with Copilot chat. So if you up in your toolbar area, you'll see that there is a little Copilot button, and you click on that, it will open up your Copilot chat. Here in this Copilot chat, you can, and what I'll do is I'll say, show me the top 3 customers with open balances. Prompt for many different things, and you can experiment, use it. How long it takes to reply, varies based upon the prompts that you ask. That may take a little bit longer, depending on what you ask, and also depending upon the information that's in your system. So as you click on here, it can show me the 3 customers, showing me their balances. And then I can also click on each one of these. It will open up each one of these customers with that particular balance. So Copilot chat, it even has up here some suggestions. You can go through and you can prompt and ask a number of different things of it and for it. What I'll do also is I'll jump over, I'll go to my customer again. And the next, I'm going to open up a customer field. And you can see, of course, I'll have a little sluggish. I'm going to say my general business posting group. If I hover over my general business posting group, now we have in the tooltip, we have an Ask Copilot. If you click on the Ask Copilot, what it will do is it'll pop it over to Copilot chat. And then here you'll find some information about each of these fields and how they're used. If you have extensions, you can also set this up so that your extensions can have information about it. Earlier you can find, I did the same exact thing and it showed me the general business posting group. Here it had a struggle finding it, but again, sometimes with AI, what you get back, you have to analyze and validate. But that's what the Ask Copilot's fields is doing for you. The next thing that we'll cover is one that is my favorite. I'm going to start a new customer, and I will click Microsoft customer, and then I'll put in the city. I'll put it's in Redmond, and then when these fields are in any of the blank fields, it's the little sparkle. It took me a little while to figure out what that was, and I guess the official name is Sparkle, but I don't know. I've heard many different names for it. If I click on this, it will go out and search the internet to try to autofill information for me based upon what information has been provided on this card. So we'll give it a minute to process. And if anybody's used any of these features or has any comments on any of these features of how they use and how it's helped them, please share in the chat for others to be able to read. And you can see here now it has come back with some suggestions. It filled in and it found Microsoft in Redmond, Washington. It filled in their address, phone number, and a contact. Now here, there's also a drop down. I now can see the information that Copilot had suggested for me, and then I can choose keep or not keep via check mark the information that was entered. So now I'm going to keep the selected information, and now my customer has been filled in. This has been one of my favorite features. I believe this will only be, I have to look at the really be available in sandbox environments, but if it's not available in production yet, it will be available at a time in the future. I don't want to save that address. Okay. Thing that I want to talk about is I talk about the marketing text. Marketing text is one of those oldies but goodies. So what I'll do is I'll go up and I will open an item card. And then here, if I go to my marketing text on the item card, see that there's a draft with Copilot. If I click draft with Copilot, it will review and analyze the information, the categories and the attributes of that item. Let me choose a different item. And then here we go. It's of course it's just my luck. It's having a challenge with it.
This one, Brad, I'm super impressed with because of the fact that it reads the data within, within our attributes, within the descriptors, the description 1, description 2, and it really comes back with a pretty decent marketing text. Because remember, AI is trying to think about how am I going to use this in a marketing sense, not just a plain Jane, like bland description. It's thinking about what should a person, a customer, a user see like on a website? What should a customer user see, whether even you're presenting it maybe on a portal or something like that. So I'm super impressed the fact that it goes out and comes back with some pretty decent ones. And you can keep running this over and over again. You're going to get different answers because you can expand upon it to make it like, I want you to do another one, regenerate it, but do it strong, regenerate it and do it like softer.
Yep. That's what I'm going to do. I just jumped back into, the version of Business Central that I was using was version 20. It was the preview version of 28, which the preview just was released earlier this week. So if you do have an environment you can manage, you can create a sandbox environment of the preview version, which will be released next month. Preview version sometimes may have some things they're still working on. So I jumped back into a 27.4, and you can see here that I used the marketing text and it generated a marketing text for me. And as you had mentioned, Steve, now based on the item that I was in, I can specify the tone that I would like to use. I can specify the format. I can also put any emphasis on the emphasis that I want to have within the text. So here I can keep it. As you had mentioned, I can regenerate it, and I can also change it or type any information for myself. Again, this is geared or intended to be used for if you have product information, you may have an e-commerce site, or you may have another third-party site. You need to have some additional marketing information outside the description 2 field that are on an item card. So the next thing that we'll cover is I'll jump over the lists and or analyze lists in the analysis view. So I'm going to search for general ledger entries. Is anyone using analysis views? Anyone not analysis views? That's, as I mentioned, they're one of my features because it basically allows you to look at any of these list pages in sort of a pivot table point of view to review data. I've worked with individuals that even created sort of little books or analysis books and statements that they go into. So if I click on my analysis view mode right here, where now I can work and search with the data. And again, it becomes like an Excel pivot table. Actually type what I would like a view created for. So if I type something such show account balance by dimension, my type, you will go through and it should create an analysis view. And again, most times with using AI, the more information you give it, sometimes the better results. So as you're working with some of these AI features that require prompting, Prompting is something that sometimes people feel may become almost like an art or a technique. I'm even starting to speak in prompt when I speak with others, again, from talking with AI all the time. It's just important you start to see what type of results you get from each. So here, instead of me having to go through and change all of the information in my analysis view, it has done it for me. And you can see here, I have my dimensions on this side, and now I have my periods and totals that it had chosen for me. So it gave me a good head start. Now analysis view with the idea saved within my view, I can export it, share it, and do a number of different things with it. So I'm a big fan of that one.
Brad, these things are, if anybody has never played with analysis views yet, I beg you to go into your sandboxes and play. This is without a doubt the best management, accounting, analysis tool that has come around, and it's been around for several years now, but the amount of the ability that comes with this to slice and dice your data in many different ways, to send it to Excel, to even expand upon it for management reporting. You can't hurt it. You can't break it. It's just another way of looking at your data versus the list view that comes up automatically. So go around, do it in general ledger entries, look at it in customer ledger entries, look at it in item ledger entries. There's so many places to have fun with this.
And if you haven't worked with those and you have some questions on, as I mentioned, feel free to reach out. I'll do my best to help with any questions. And if I can't answer the questions, I'll do my best to get you in a place to where you can get the answers to your questions. The next thing that I want to cover is the create number series. Again, I opened up a number series. On the number series, I click on generate. It'll give me another prompt. There's also, just so that you know, I'm clicking the prompt at the bottom. When you're working with these, you also see a lot of these will have the Copilot symbol in your action bar, and you can get to that information from there as well. So I click the generate with the sparkle at the bottom, and I can say something. Everybody loves setting up number series, and maybe you need a new number series for a new feature. Number series has been expired. You need to create a new one. And again, like with anything else, we'll see what happens here. We'll just say create a new number series for sales orders, customers. I'll just pick sales orders. So what I do is I click generate. It's really beneficial and helpful when you're going to create a new system or set up a new system. You can set up a more than one number series. As you can see here, it's going to suggest that we create something called release for release orders. It's pretty that these features and function how they work. The more information that you give, you can have it. You can even specify the code. You can specify a description and do things. But it's pretty neat on how a lot of this stuff gets added. So a lot of neat AI features in Business Central. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back over to here. And one of the things that I had mentioned, which 27.4, the preview was released. Up into that, it had a different name, is going to be creating your own agent. So agents, and I'm going to walk through creating an agent quickly on here just for a demonstration. So I can actually, if I go into my agents, here's my list of agents. Does anyone know what an agent is? Has anyone heard of the word agent? Somebody want to type in and they can tell me what they think an agent is. We hear a lot of this word about AI agents, agentic development, agentic this.
We've got FBI, Skynet. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, basically, I think an agent, in my opinion, my definition, listen, you see a lot of things out there, and I don't know which definitions, right? To me, an agent is almost as it's a process that is supposed to replicate the work of something that somebody is doing, or a process that needs to be done that's managed by AI. That's Brad's loose definition for you. So in this case, I'm going to create an agent. It pops up a wizard. I'm going to be brave, and I'll create an agent from scratch. I have a lot of fun with these. So I'm going to give it a name. I'll just call it customer balance, if I can spell it correctly. And this is available in 27.4. So if you can start working with it. Again, it's agent preview. One thing to note about the agent, any central with the mark of preview. Preview means that feature is still under development. It means that some features may be added or removed. Once they take the preview away, then it becomes a feature that's supported. So Microsoft does leave some room there that anything that's in the preview may have features, functionality added or removed. Once they drop the preview, it becomes part of mainstream support. So what I'll do here is I'll call it customer balance. And what I want to do is I'll just say, if the, basically I'm going to give it a description of what this does, and I will block customers balance over $4,000. So now I'm going to go into step profile. What setup profile? Again, now agents, think of an agent as a person using Business Central application. You have to choose the profile that you'd like them to use. In this case, I'll use a sales order processor. And then you have to give the permissions. Again, these agents will run under the permissions that you give them. I will do something for this demonstration just for the sake of demonstration. I would never recommend doing, just because I don't want to pick the certain roles that I want, is I'll give it a super user permission. But again, I would never do that. Again, I'm a sandbox environment. This is a demonstration. It's not a production environment. Be very careful with the permissions when you're working with the users. Now, the next thing I'll do is I'll give it instructions. My instructions are going to be, what do I want it to do? Here, you just type what you want it to do. I want it to review each customer. And then I'll just say, review the customer balance. If the balance is over $4,000, then block the customer. And I hit OK. And now I have my agent that I can do update, ready to activate the agent. Yes, my agent is activated, has been created to try out different instruction variants. Sure, we can do that. What I want to do is it's taking my agent, and again, something went wrong. We'll see what happens with that. If I do run task, I'll just say task test. This is a test. I'll hit OK. We'll see what happens with this as we go through it. As you do go through the tasks, you can see, I don't know why there was something that went wrong. Again, it's like with anything else. Sometimes you have it. I'll run the task. It should be running. Okay, so now my task is running. Again, I just refreshed the screen is what I did. So now you can see that my task is running. I can go do other things and work on other things with this as I go through Business Central. I'm just going to leave it open for a minute as it runs the task. Again, it should take a moment. We can continue through it. Has anybody worked with any of the agents programming or?
I played, I played with it, but already know that. So, I mean, I played with it. I played a very soft ask for it because I was curious if it can do something with collections, and I thought maybe it can do something with reminders. I was trying to see if it could be smart enough to say, find me everybody that hasn't paid me in, over 90 days and send them a reminder that says Vito's going to come and, put the cement chute on you.
Yes.
It half worked. It really did. It was actually pretty impressive. I was blown away by the fact that I can just type this and just do it. Versus using some of the basic functionality in Business Central, like reminders in general. But I'm kind of impressed. I mean, I'm kind of impressed the fact that, any one of us can just sit there, come up with an idea, make an agent and get it to work. And then it's there for you. So that's what's more impressive for me. I'm not a technical person. I'm not a technical person. So the fact that I can just
we know you're not a technical person.
I know I'm the worst.
Brad
yells at me every day. So
yeah. So as you can see through here, as it has gone through and it worked on my process, right? And you'll be able there's a number of ways you can see this information, but it went through my customers, and now it's saying the customers that it has gone through and it has blocked and it has ended. So now you can see the information about what it has done. So it gives you a list of what it's doing. It's selected a list of my customers. It went through each of my customers. It opened the page, and then if it update, you can see the name. And it gives you the steps of what it's doing, and you can go through it. I invite everybody. I wish I could spend more time in this webinar. I'm already taking more time than I was supposed to. Steve has to cover his portion of it. Each one of these, I don't want to see each one of these features, but the agent feature alone, I could spend hours with you covering all of the functionality and showing you how to use it. So now if I go back to my customers, in Business Central, all of you take a look at their balance, right? So we can actually then take a look at the block field, and you can see that some of these customers are now blocked if they have a balance over $4,000. One neat thing also is now, if you notice up here, this is with all the agents. Now you can see that I had created my CB, customer balance. I can actually run this agent at any to go through and analyze my customers and then block them that are over $4,000. I could also, within that same agent, expand a little bit more to unblock any customers under $4,000. So we could do both of them for me. I've worked with some implementations. They've had to go through and do some analysis on sales, if they should release the sales orders or not, certain pieces of information. So there's a number of things you can do with these agents. If you haven't worked with it yet, I recommend you try to work with it if you can in your environment. Again, this is one of those that does have an additional cost to it, and you should review that before you use it. I highly encourage everyone to work with and use the agents in there. If anybody has any questions about any of these features or functions I had mentioned, please reach out to me and I will answer those for you. And that's all I have for this portion of it. Steve.
Thank you, my friend. I'm going to take over the presentation role right now. So let me just switch it out, everybody. So give me 30 seconds. I'm going to start sharing. And I'm going to select my window here and share away. Hopefully everybody can see me, and we're showing Business Central here. What I'm going to do, Brad kind of went through a series of different ones he wanted to talk about. I'm going to talk about the few that I love the most. I also like several that Brad talked about, like autofill and other things like that. I'm a true believer in autofill today. I love the fact that it can do anything that I don't know, like off the top of my head, and just do an autofill off a customer card or vendor card and stuff, or even other areas. But let's start talking about sales line suggestion. I think this is the coolest thing because two things about it. The fact that if I go into a sales order and open one up, and I pick and I'm just going to pick a new one here, and I'm going to go in and play with one and pick a customer right off the top of my head. Let's say I'm talking to them on the phone and say, "Hi, customer. You know, basically, I'm going to pick somebody. We'll pick this customer of mine I've got in here, and I'm going to go down, and basically, I'm going to do a suggestion or a sales order suggestion if I want to. But in this case, I'm going to go into my line. I'm going to go into lines here. And if it's not appearing, which I don't, sometimes I like to hide things to show you things, I could add the sales order suggestion in here, certainly to branch it out and add the function here to add the sales order suggestion. I don't have mine, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to expose it right now to me, and I'm going to do personalize. And I hope my version also is not going to break on me. I'm on a new version, so please bear with me here. I might have to do what Brad did, which is jump right back in and add it back for myself. So give me 30 seconds to add it. I might have to jump back to my old version, and I think I'm going to have to because I can't get it to pop open. Give me 1 second.
If you run into a problem, see if I can jump back and do the suggest lines.
Yeah, I'm thinking my version is. Do you have yours on yours open? I think mine is broken.
Yes, I do. Stop sharing, and I'll pop back to it.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. So if I jump back
I think I never should have updated.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. So if I go back to a sales order, I'll create a new sales order. The suggest sales lines is the AI feature. So I'm going to create a new sales order, and we can just simulate that I'm on the phone with a customer. Yes, people still use the telephone. I know a lot of people like to use email, but you can use it with email too, because you could copy and paste in there. So I'm going to pick a customer number, and then down here with the Copilot function, I'm going to say suggest sales line. So all I know from them is they just said that they would like to order 4 black chairs and 1 desk. I'm going to hit generate, and what it's going to do is it's going to go through and look at my products, and it's going to suggest the sales lines. I have this product, Paris guest chair, that's black, 4, and my Athens desk, which is 1. Now if I want to keep these, I can just click insert, and now that information is now inserted into my order. Again, I type that. You can copy and paste it from an email. Really facilitates order entry when you're entering the lines. And again, there's other features and functionality with suggesting sales lines using Copilot as far as what they previously ordered, what they have on order, and a number of different things. This was just for a specific request that somebody had had.
Thanks, Brad. I'm going to take it back.
Yes, sir.
And here we go. I'm going to take it back my share here. Let me go back to my window. I swapped it back so I can add it in here. So here's my, and and then I basically got it back to work, and 20 love matted. And basically I'll generate that, and basically it will go out, and it's pretty, I love the fact that if I'm on the phone and as fast as I can click, I can type faster sometimes, and I can put in the items that I want. And so as people are, whether they're texting it to you or whether you're chatting with them in a chat box, you can copy and paste everything here, and you can fill it in, and you can basically just click on it. You find the items. You can certainly insert it right into the lines here, and you can keep doing this. You can just go back, and if they send you a file, I love the file idea, because this was the coolest thing when it first came out. The fact that the file itself, if you created a format that said, customers, send me all your orders through a file format, like item, whether it be the name of the item, whether it be the item number, the quantity, whatever you want, and then basically just do it through a format, it would basically enter this. So think of fast order entry. How many people would love to go through fast order entry in like 30 seconds without having to deal with the typing ability? Just a file that you send out to your customers and send it back to you on email. So great idea. Love this. Let's step off of this and move on. I'm going to move on from there. I'm going to do late payment predictions. The reason I love this is because I'm sick of people trying to, collections is probably the hardest thing out there. You do know that it's so hard today in this day and age, post-COVID, to understand when your customers are going to pay you, whether they're going to pay you timely, whether they're not going to pay you timely, whether they're just going to be late because they just feel like it, whether they want to play games with you. So one of the coolest things is a concept called late payment predictions. Now, late payment predictions came out in the early days of when AI came into Business Central. And one of the things it was trying to accomplish is it's a way of analyzing the customer history inside of Business Central and to forecast when invoices are truly going to be paid based on your past history. Now, understand something here. This is basically kind of like an AI model that is like pre-training itself. Now, you can create your own model, but you can certainly, this one is pre-trained based on the data that's inside your database. The larger the database or the more history over the many years, the better the prediction is going to be. It's a simple setup. You just go to late payments prediction setup here, and you set up your model, enable predictions. You can do your own model. You can do one that's coming from Business Central, and you can set up the rules based on the model. And you can set up some thresholds and some ability. You want the model to be like 91% accurate. The quality, and then the threshold is around a 63% accuracy. Again, you can put some time in here for usage and stuff, how long it's going to take. This is more of the clicks, I call it, where Brad mentioned earlier that things do cost money. And yes, every, AI does have a value to it. I call it clicks or usage. And it does keep track of that. One thing to note, if you do your AI predictions like I do this, and it runs every night. And every night my prediction runs through, and it comes up with the ability to look at every single item that's inside of my open balances and come up with how the prediction is going to be. If I scroll my prediction all the way over to the very end, you'll see some of the predictive models, predictive information here that it's coming about. So it's going to be late. It's due on March 10th, which actually is in a few days. It's already going to be late. And the prediction confidence is medium. Again, you can have medium, high, you can have low, and all your variables are in here based on your history. Of course, you can rerun this as many times as you want through the system, and on a daily basis. Most people I've set up on this, I do it on an evening at the very end of the day. It'll run through the prediction, and basically it will tell the AR collection people how late these are going to be based on how customers are paying today. It is not going to be very good in the very beginning. If you're implementing somebody, don't expect anything here, because guess what? It has no history. It has no knowledge of how good your customers are paying you. The larger the database, the more history over the many years, the better the predictive index will be. And again, I would tell you to set this up because I bet you anybody in AR, collections, controllers, accounting managers are going to love this, because then that way they can say how many predicted invoices are going to be overdue. 168. Can you imagine having over 100 that are going to be past due? That's even worse, considering there's $4 million owed in this play database. Now, one thing I want to move on to after this is, of course, a summary. I'm going to open up a customer card here. Now, I know we've been playing with the customer card all day long here, and I'm going to pick a good customer with a nice balance owed to me, so I can pick somebody that's got a lot of history. I'm going to pick this one right here, and I'm going to go into their customer card. Now, on their customer card, you can see a lot of information. I mean, Brad talked about the fill-in information, where you actually see this little diamond, and that can fill in those suggestions. I love that because there are things in here that maybe I forgot the address and I want to get the real address. Maybe I forgot, I don't know, a zip code or something. But the coolest thing to me is this little box. And for those of you who've seen this appear on customer cards, on vendor cards, on item cards, this is called the summary preview. It is the coolest thing. You can actually go in, preview the information. I have this running all the time because I like to show more. And it tells me so much about this customer, for which I can ask more questions. You know, like, will my bills be paid on time? Or tell me the last 10 items that I sold to them. So I can come in here and say, what were the last 5 items I sold to this customer? And it will go out and look at all the invoices that it were, and it will come back with an answer, just like Brad's, when he types his questions to the AI Copilot. It'll come back after it finds out that answer, as it analyzes all the last invoices that I presented. But the nice part about this is the last payment receipt was on March 4th, with 6 ongoing sales orders indicating recent payment and active orders. There is a ship not invoiced amount of $2,000 that I forgot to, oh shoot, man, I got to go to, maybe somebody forgot to send the invoice out. Got to race and do that. The number of sales documents last fiscal year were 89. So I had 89 true sales to them with a 60% profit margin. The amount of summarized information is really good here, especially for those in like salespeople or sales management that want to really analyze who's my best customers, who's my worst customers. Something to think about here. Again, sorry for the delay in this. Just like Brad said, it's looking for the answer, and I guess my gerbils are not running fast enough in my sandbox here. But it's supposed to come back. I might have to stop this and cancel this because it's taking longer than necessary. I'm gonna stop this because I want to look. I mean, I want to be cognizant of everybody's time and we've got about 15 minutes left. I'm going to stop that right there. And I'm going to jump over to an item card real fast because I want to show you this. This is pretty cool. Because I want to show you the item card, because I think this is great for people who do R&D or development of items, and also the fact that people who analyze, you know, what items are best sellers and what items are not. So here I am looking at this one right here, and I'm going to open this one up as well. And again, you can notice that it's summarizing it right here. And it's going to update this in a second. I'm going to shut this little window out and let it summarize. And now I've got my preview here of my items. Sorry. So here's an item. Look at this. Current balance, you know, of my items on inventory is $53,000. It's telling me basically the last information about total sales of this item is, you know, 50,000 here. It's updating everything here very slowly, but sorry about that. The unit price is $6 with a cost of $1.30. Again, most recent sale that was made, profit margin at 78% profit margin. Quantity, you know, and the quantity on sales orders, 639 units sold. Think about all the information I've gotten out of this. Lead times for people who are doing planning and forecasting and, you know, purchase planning. Obviously, the last shipment that was ever sent out the door. I can talk about receipts. You know, I can ask it questions, you know, when do you think I will run out of inventory? Again, it's going to analyze now the sales that I've made, and it's going to basically look at the inventory on hand, and it's going to basically try to extrapolate based on history when I'm going to run out. And you can use inventory forecasting report to predict when you might run out of inventory. This report uses historical data. So it's giving me enough information here. And again, this is the best it can come out to do. So it wants me to go run my inventory forecasting report. Additionally, I can use an extension to leverage Azure AI to predict better data. Great information. Obviously, I didn't get the answer I wanted because I expected it to tell me a number of basically 3.5 months. But basically, that's what it's here to do. Now, one thing to note, it's not going to basically be a good tool set possibly to kind of change your planning parameters like reorder points. It will give you suggestions, but it will not be a good tool to use as that. You could potentially make a new co-pilot agent to actually give you information to better serve you, kind of where Brad was. I'm trying that one right now as a play. I'm trying to see if it can do me anything on the planning parameter side. Okay, let's step off of this document. We've had enough fun with the glitter dance and go back here. I want to jump into a bank rec. I've had a lot of fun, and Brad was teasing me earlier today about the whole bank rec. I love this. I don't see why anybody is not doing this today. I think it's the coolest toy that's out there. And again, I have this bank rec that I've kind of thrown out there. I threw some transactions in, some old transactions you can see by the dates, and I've got some stuff I've imported it from my bank statement here, and some sloppy. But you'll notice this word reconcile up here. Now, under the reconcile, you have two options. You can reconcile it, and you can also post the differences to general ledger if it finds something that possibly is a difference. You have both choices here. I'm just going to click reconcile so we can have a little quick fun with this. And what it's going to do is give me my confidence. Now, based on the rules that are set forth in the reconciliation matching process, it auto-matched 19 of 23 lines, about 83%. And of course, it's telling me, okay, there are going to be ones that are not available to you. Do I want to proceed, or do I want to do something different? Obviously, I'm going to say keep it. And basically, it will auto-reconcile, as you can see. Let me shrink this down here just so we can have a bigger window, but it auto reconciles everything it found, and it left over things it didn't find. Fees, obviously these fees need to go, and we'll transfer these fees to the general journal, and we'll record that later on when we're finished. But you could see how fast this was. Can you imagine I bring in my bank statement through an import, which of course you can do. You can just import your bank statement right here. You get a file, you import it, you download it. 1, 2, 3, it looks at it. It basically goes through a matching process, and you can basically auto reconcile the whole thing as it's here within a matter of minutes. No more 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour bank recs. Hopefully bank recs can be more of like a 15 to a 30-minute exercise, saving so many hours for the accountants and the staff that does this. But it's a great tool. Please try this. If you're confused how to do this, reach out. I've got a handout that I've given out to people. Basically just tells you how to walk through doing this process from soup to nuts. So reach out to us and we'll get you that handout. Okay, I'm going to step off this bank rec. I know we've got about 8 minutes left before the top of the hour. I'm going to basically transfer into my payables agent screen here. So I'm going to stop my sharing and then share again to my my window here, and basically start from this slide where we left off. This is where we kind of left off with Brad when he left his slideshow. Hopefully everybody can see it. Can you see the slide? I think everybody
Not
can.
yet. Correct? I cannot see the slide.
You cannot see the slide. All right.
No.
Let me hit escape.
If you need me to pick it up, Steve, I can pick it up.
And I'll share again. Whoop. Going to my window, and I will pick up on my slide deck here. And there we go. All right.
I see it.
And you should be able to see the whole slide, correct?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, you got your presentation mode.
That's
presentation that's okay. I'll switch. Thank you. All right. So that should be better.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. All right. Let's talk about the payables agent. I know we briefly talked about it when Brad went over the 15+ agents that are out there, but the payables agent, without a doubt, is going to become the hottest toy that's out there today. We don't have enough time to go through the payables agent, but guess what, gang? In version 28, you can do actually now the three-way matching, which is basically the matching process that was not in previous releases of the payables agent. Now you can finally match the invoice to the purchase order, those receipted lines that you needed to match. So now you have a full functional payables agent that can receive invoices in for like general expenses, purchase ordered inventory items purchased, or purchase order related items like fixed assets or other things that you have that you need to match that invoice to the purchase order to do the three-way match and then process that invoice. The tools are here for you. It's coming out in version 28. Play with this. It is extremely fun. I love the way it matched up my invoice that came through that related to a purchase order and processes through. I know future functionality is going to be forthcoming with the payables agent for other things that are out there that are not yet available today. But if you haven't tried this yet, I'm telling you right now, this is an extremely intelligent toy or agent that actually can do the job. I know people are sitting here saying, Steve, isn't that the same as some of our ISVs? Yes, it is. Yes, there's a cost to this. There's a click cost actually to it for how many times it reads the document, but it's actually very competitive in the space, pricing wise, and also the functionality is there. There's more functionality coming. So with the approval workflow, I know that's already built into it, so you can approve those invoices that come in, but there's more coming down the road for regional things that are going to be changed. The sales order agent, this has been around probably the longest. It was one of the first kind of full-blown agents that came into Business Central about a good 2.5 years ago now. And it actually is doing a great job. I mean, I do have some small customers that are using it. They like the fact that they can just have invoices read in and then the agent picks up and actually starts responding to the customer, of course, with their approval and review. But the fact that that agent can take in just correspondence, email correspondence, whether it be through Teams, whether it be through emails, and actually start processing the order for them. So even though I did a sales line, I typed in my sales line 10 of the different Forever Friends, and I wanted 20 loves. It actually does it for you. It actually reads in what the customer wants, and it actually takes it from there and then inserts it into a sales order, sends them a confirmation if you want them to auto send the confirmation, and then has that order ready to go in the system. So if you've never tried this for either of the agents, go to Sandbox, try it. There's no cost to try anything here. Play with the system. You'll be so surprised how nice these are. And especially when you start showing this to customer service order entry people, or you're going to show them to the AP people, you're going to be really impressed with the functionality, and they're going to want to use this. And so go ahead and try it. I talked about the reconciled bank accounts here, and I really wanted to. I just want to show you one other thing here, and I didn't display this, but one of the nice parts about when you do bring a file in and you import the transactional data is it will present back to you the results in terms of what it found, if it found things that are transactions that they couldn't find, but should they apply it to multiple transactions? You know, most of us have deposits. Let's say there's $1 million deposit. It's made up of, say, 15 checks. Well, guess what? In some cases, that you have the individuality sitting in Business Central, all the 15 deposits, but it was $1 million in the bank. And the bank, in the reconciliation process, it will come back and ask you, should I take this deposit and apply it to multiple entries? Is it more of I have a large deposit in the bank and it's broken down by many transactions inside of Business Central? So it's really super intelligent, the AI utility, to actually think about that. When it looks at deposits, it says, well, wait a minute, there's been 15 checks that probably make up that $1 million, and it will actually match it up and reconcile it. Okay, gang, this one is going to be fun. This one is my favorite one because guess what? The preview is coming out in version 28. There's extensive testing going on in the right now with several folks testing the expense agent. This, to me, is going to be fun. Why? It's considered the newest of the new agents. It's called an autonomous co-pilot agent. It doesn't reside inside of Business Central. It actually resides outside of Business Central, and it just talks to Business Central. It works seamlessly and connects with, you know, Business Central and talks to it. It also integrates, obviously, with our email inbox, calendars, as well as the fact that it works similarly as the payable agent. So it creates vendor invoices. It'll create expense report invoices paying back your employees, or potentially you can integrate this with, obviously you're bringing in your credit cards and stuff, and it potentially can create an invoice back to, say, your credit card company like Amex, Visa, MasterCard, etc., that you have to pay them all those bills back. But obviously it's going to analyze all the uploaded receipts. It's going to create an intelligent line item expense report for that user, that employee, and then it's going to basically break it down based on how you would like to break down those bills and categorize them. It also has full reporting. There isn't, there's normal reports that come out of this, just like an expense report. So don't think that it's limited to just an ability to just gather data. Yes, this also competes with some of our ISVs out there, but the nice part is it's just another tool that is functional within Business Central that potentially can be more cost effective and easier for your users to do. And again, something you should try it out, and then see if you like it, and also play around with it, because obviously it's going to be in preview mode, so you'll have a chance to play with it before you actually it goes into general release. Last but not least, before we end our session today, is forecasting. Obviously, the AI forecasting is heavily out there, especially in demand forecast. I've been playing with this extensively a lot because I've tried to kind of play with Copilot and see if I can basically freak it out. And looking at basically my demand forecast for manufacturing, maybe a demand forecast for components. And I want to see if it can really truly analyze my past using a more of a seasonality or a trend prediction mode, where I say, okay, over the last, I've had some ups and downs, this year is rough. My suppliers are going to run 120 days late. How should I predict my forecast? And I've been trying to throw anything at it, because obviously I want the AI engine to really look at it and try to generate something back. It has been truly nice to me. I haven't really done anything crazy or stupid, but I love playing with this. If you've never, ever seen this before and you are into your demand forecast, go into Sandbox and play with this. It is amazing what it can do. And the ability to really take a forecast and enhance it and take it to that next level, looking at all of the planning parameters, looking at everything. And again, you can also take it even further. You can say, hey, based on this forecast, should I change my safety stock? Kind of like my fourth bullet point here. So have fun with this. I love this. I'm hoping to see more enhancements maybe later this year, if not into 2027 with this. With that said, Brad and I are opening it up to questions. What to do? Any questions for the group out there? Anything in the chat?
I don't see any new questions. I've been trying to answer the ones that
you've been. I've heard you've been typing. Your AI has been typing. I've been hearing the click, 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 click. So
I tried to mute it. I apologize for that moment. But anybody has any other questions, please feel free to chat them, or as I mentioned, connect with Steve and I on LinkedIn and send us some messages there, and we'll do our best to assist you.
For everybody on this call and for everybody who's watching this, truly, truly, what's next? I mean, I think these are the three most important bullet points that are out there, Brad. I mean, learn about what the Copilot features are. Take a Saturday. I hate saying it. Take some time to look into it. Talk to your people in the company. Do they want to even strategize into Copilot? I've had some wild, wild questions where Copilot's going from customers, even from people who meet at road shows and conferences and everything. And test and use it. There's no harm in testing it and playing with it in a sandbox. You'd have fun with it. There's so many things in there that maybe, just maybe, maybe this might be more productive if I try this, and show your coworkers and everybody in the company that it's out there. Last but not least, here is a cool reference slide. Let me just click next slide here. This is a really cool reference slide. Please click on it. It's just basically taking all the things we've talked about and kind of giving you links back to Microsoft on the Learn section about it, and kind of references it back. So it's a kind of cool link where actually we list out all the different Copilot abilities, and then you can read more about it in Microsoft Learn from what Microsoft has written about it. And with that, without further ado, a big thank you to everybody. Thanks to the board and the learners team here, and Blaine for allowing us to do this webinar. Anything else, Brad, we should talk about?
I don't think we have anything else to cover, Steve. We did go over briefly. I apologize for that. But stay tuned for upcoming webinars with many other wonderful members of the community. And Steve and I will be for another AI session as they add additional AI features to Business Central.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.